Dialogues are a core mechanic for many games. These represent a talk between you, the player, and the world. It's a tool to deliver more depth to the world. Dialogues vary very heavily from game to game. Some are simple, some are complex with complex trees behind them. Some use animated faces, almost like a movie. Hello there, Oats here, developer of the game Alvaran Kingdom. In today's video I want to talk about the new dialogue system of my game. The Gothic games are a big inspiration for me, and their dialogue and quest systems are awesome. So I want to implement such a system into my game. As always, I start with the most simple changes. First, I need to change the dialog box in my game. I need a menu where I can choose the dialogue I want to have. A simple list as this should do it. This looks okay for now. I call this the choose box, since here I choose the dialogue to play. I want to reuse my old dialogue system. In my old system I have a JSON representing the dialogue. Here you can see a simple dialogue. I use a JSON deserialization class which loads the JSON into an object. So I take this JSON and put it into this class. Now I have a chain of these dialog blocks and each points to the next one. The last one has the end as its next block. This is my current system. So I make a wrapper around the block of the dialogues. This wrapper tells me what to display on the choose box and can have more functionalities. So I have multiple dialog blocks and the player can choose which one he wants to hear. With the new system I see the whole dialogue as a tree, and choosing a dialogue means I choose a branch from this tree. So I have now a working dialogue system where I can choose a dialogue branch. My next thought is that it makes the game more immersive when branches disappear, which you already heard. My initial idea was that this information clearly needs to be saved. It should also be there after you close the game. So I will save this into the save file. Also, this information is saved into the player since the player is saved globally. Also, it's easier for me to implement it this way, so I use the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. So I added a dialogue saver to the player. The saver saves, as the name already tells, the dialogue you have already seen. I just save the dialogue branch name you see in the box with a boolean. If the value for a specific dialogue branch name is true, then I don't load this branch into my box. Furthermore, the dialogue branch now needs to be unique. Same names will lead to some problems. But this is a problem for future Oats. The reality is more complex than the first idea you have. Some dialogue branches should stay after being used. You can think of a shop or information that should stay after being used. I just added a flag to the JSON object that tells if you should remove this. Let's see that in action. You can talk and some branches disappear, some stay. Now I have the ground structure of the system. Time to write some dialogues. My next step is to add new dialogue branches. If you reach a certain point in the story, an NPC now has something new to tell. This can be done with quests. Imagine a quest where you have to ask some people to collect something like goods or information. When you reach this point, the choose menu should have more options you can ask NPCs. Currently the system is very static and can only display what is in the dialog JSON file. For this I need to work on the quest system. This quest system is strongly connected with the dialog system. This new system will be the quest branch system. So designing the quest branches will be the next step. They should look like a normal dialog branch. Now I will have a JSON file for each new dialog branch which I want to add to an NPC. This will be a lot of files. It's nice to have the branches in a file, but they need to be loaded. Dialogues are created in a Dialog Npc Manager. This class handles the loading of a dialogue. It takes a path to the JSON and tries to parse it. The path string is a simple exported string, so I can edit the path in the engine. I added a property hint so Godot knows that this string represents a file. There are several property hints you can use. I added a list of strings in the NPC Dialog Manager, which will contain all paths to all branches I want to add into the choose menu. Now I need to code the loading of the path list into the final product. The list needs to be filled and my system is ready to work. The filling of the list is done by the quests. Quests are done with the same recipe as the dialogues, saved into a JSON which contains all information. I added something into the quest.json. A quest now can contain paths to dialog branches. Whenever I update a quest, I look if I need to update a dialog branch in an NPC. I also saved the NPC name. The game needs to know which NPC to update with which dialog branch. I add the branch into the path list of the NPC Dialog Manager. This list of paths the NPC Dialog Manager saves into the save file and loads it, so even after saving the game, the dialog branches from the quest are still there. To test this new feature, I added a second quest into the game. It's getting activated when you talk to Phil. Afterwards you need to talk to Catherine, then you need to talk to Rufus, the smith in the city. I added also into the game that you can even update dialog branches of NPCs that are in a different level. This took some time, but yeah, this is a cool feature. At last, I added a simple trading system, again connected to the dialog system. This time I changed the tag of this dialog. The tag and the type clearly defines the action to do. Here I define a shop action. This opens up the shop menu. This looks good but has no functionality. This will come later. Tell me how you like this kind of video. What can I improve? Thanks for listening to my new devlog. See ya.